A microphone. Hello, hello. I've forgotten the microphone. So, anyways, good evening to you, everyone, and welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel once again. I'm redoing the introduction because the microphone was off, but looks like our audio is on now. Bukayo Saka is limping, and on the touchline, on the sidelines, Max Dorman is warming up. But let's hope all is well with the British forward. You'll endow with me on this one. I'm going to be trying to follow the game on multiple sources because all of them are sort of unreliable, if I'm being honest, in terms of speed. But there's a feed on one of my devices. There's another feed. So, but we will engage on that front. We will engage on that front, and keep you make sure we keep you abreast with the updates that are coming through. But it's a beautiful evening. Like I said, we are following the events from the Carabao Cup, where Arsenal are leading by goal to nil against Port Vale. That goal was a brilliant sort of sweet strike that we did get to witness in the opening stanza, thanks to Ebeleche Eze scoring that goal. I think it was Lewis Kelly that provided the assist. And like I said, in the other games, Manchester City are leading by goal to nil against Huddersfield Town. That goal was scored by Phil Foden. Then Tottenham Hotspurs are leading by 2-0 against Doncaster Rovers, while Newcastle are also 2-0 up against Bradford City. So those are some of the other games that are ongoing in as far as the third round of the EFL Cup is concerned. And like I've told you, the action from the Spanish La Liga is also underway. Atletico de Madrid are a goal up against Rayo Vallecano, while in the earlier fixture, Deportivo Alves and Getafe shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. One of the other games is still, I think, goalless. That's a game between Real Sociedad and Mallorca. So yeah, that's what's up on that front. But like I said, it's going to be a watch along. In fact, I need to update this. It's a watch along as we follow the updates from those games. Particularly, we are following the game between Arsenal and Port Vale. Arsenal did start with a very, very strong lineup, in my opinion, because they do have Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, William Saliba, Christian Mosquera, Ben White, and Lewis Kelly. The starters in defense, midfield trio of Christian Nogat, Mikel Merino, and Ethan Wanyeri. Then the forward three include Ebeleche Eze, Gabriel Martinelli, and Bukayo Saka. So for me, I find that a very, very strong lineup. And the scoreline should tell you how uneasy this game was. I thought, Arsenal should be able to come away and blow Port Vale away by beating them maybe by 4-0. But from the look of things, it doesn't feel like that will be the scoreline. By the end of the 90 minutes, they only have one goal. That goal came very, very early in the first half, and they've been unable to add on to that. The goal came in as early as the 8th minute, So, but they've been unable to add to it. About 16,326 people are in the stands watching tonight this game. The beautiful thing about the Carabao Cup, especially at this stage, is that the small teams, I love it when the small teams are at home, they get to host the big teams, make a bit of money because when you're a team like Port Vale and you're playing against an opponent like Arsenal, then it's only expected that you're going to up your charges when it comes to when it comes to debt collection and stuff like that. But and I do not think so. For example, yesterday Southampton were playing away to Liverpool. Uh, Lincoln City were glad to host Chelsea. Grimsby were glad to. Oh, our supporters are 2,970. That's the traveling Arsenal fans. Anyways, so you go back to Grimsby Town and they hosted Manchester United. Huddersfield Town are hosting Manchester City. Um, Now, I do sort of find it a bit unfortunate that Bradford City have to travel to Newcastle. It should be Newcastle going the other side. Tottenham Hotspur at home against Doncaster Rovers. For some of these lesser opponents or the underdogs, I prefer that they play at home. They play away at home. It's an opportunity for these clubs to make a little bit of money. For example, you go to a club like Sheffield Wednesday, who have been struggling with their finances and they're not yet in the clear. Why would they have to play away? I mean, I'm not saying they are playing away because in any case, they were knocked out by Grimsby Town, who beat them, I think, by goal to nil or 2-0. But yeah, that's happening. But as we speak, the scoreline is yet to change between this Arsenal side and Port Vale. I thought Arsenal have not been really, really penetrative in the game so far. They've not created enough, goal scoring opportunities to warranty that they should be beyond in the lead, best or beyond what they already have. There was a moment, I remember one of the moments in the first half, they went on a counter attack and then Mikel Merino sort of took a pause, and I was thinking to myself, you don't have to wait for the entirety of the team to, move forward. Play with the ones ahead of you, try and find somebody in that sense. But it did not happen that way. It did not happen that way. And it is what it is. Anyways, the game is still, we're into the 15th minutes thereabout of the game, and it's still 1-0. Still 1-0 so far. I was in a forum, a football forum, and we're discussing that not particularly the incident, but we're discussing Mikel Merino, and I compared him to Vasilik Abdiabe, who did play for Arsenal a couple of years back, and some people disagreed. They said Vasilik Abdiabe was more talented, but particularly what I was trying to do a comparison to was that I remember oftentimes watching Vasilik Abdiabe, Arsenal going on the break, and he breached that midfield or the opponent's half and took a pause and sort of scanned the field as though he was going to wait for bells, the Vatican bells, But yeah, that happens. That happens, and it is what it is. I think Paris Barga has largely been a less troubled man, really. The reason is I've not followed the game second by second. I've tried to follow minute by minute. Uh, First half, again, my feeds were, pretty much not different from what we had yesterday. Were not different from what we had yesterday. You remember yesterday we were having trouble. With internet, our feed wasn't coming through. So it's not been any different really. Oh, okay. Mm, Jesus Christ. We have to do this all the time. I'm sort of, trying to be Pastor Robert detector. Again, us not doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They keep popping that ball sideways, sideways, central, sideways, central, sideways, and it just doesn't yield much. Then Ethan Wanyeri had an attempted goal in the opening half, and yeah, it was deflected wide. Bukayo Saka is being withdrawn for Max Dorman. Max Dorman, the youngster, 15-year-old, a bit more direct and stuff like that. I think he's handed over to the armband. Probably, I'm thinking to William Saliba, possibly. Does he get to wear the armband? Because I do not think they get to give it to Christian Morgan. I do want to think it's Saliba that gets to done it, or maybe Ben White, maybe, because those are senior players on the pitch, those that have been at Arsenal for quite a good time. So I think good test for Bukayo Saka. We know he just returned from injury. He did return in that game against Manchester City. That one all draw on Sunday. So he needs the minutes. He needs the minutes. He needs the minutes. Really to get going. Because on the weekend they have a very crucial game. A must not lose kind of fixture for Arsenal, and I suspect I have a bad feeling about it. Arsenal just do not know, just do not know how to go to Newcastle and win. They've done it before, but it's not something that you see very often, and so it's not been encouraging so far. Jesus Christ, does it have to be this bad? I'm talking about the internet. It's just failing to load. Not much is happening. That's why the silence. A couple of substitutions were being made. Uh, there's a throw in pending, so you're not missing much really. In my silence, you're not missing much. Excuse you. Jesus Christ. Struggled through a couple of things. I did not think that internet was going to be one of those. I didn't think that internet was going to be one of those tonight. And yet it's somehow becoming. It's somehow becoming that. Okay. A couple of changes being made for Portville. So yeah, sometimes I'm fascinated by how much how much information people get to put out there, or how much they sort of know. Anyways, once again, internet is struggling on and off kind of thing. Internet is on and off. But yeah, we I mean, for cup competitions like this, you do expect managers to, and especially when it comes to teams like Tottenham Hotspurs, actually all teams, because for the lesser teams, you're thinking to yourself, if if there's any piece of silverware that we can try and win, it's usually these small cups, and it doesn't come smaller than the EFL Cup. Now, I know that last season it was won by Newcastle, a team out of the traditional big teams, and then the FA Cup was won by Crystal Palace, and those are the competitions you take a shot at because you're not in the Champions League, you're not going to win the league, and yet on the other side, big teams also must be thinking to themselves that look here, there's only one team that is going to win the league at the end of the day. So we must try and fight for these cup competitions, so that we'll walk away with a piece of silverware, and yeah, the Carabao Cup is one of those. It's the pride that Newcastle carry into this season as the reigning champions, but also the pride of breaking the jinx, or that last as many as 7 decades, ever since they had last won a major trophy, I think, which had been the Friends Cup. It was the sort of an intercity kind of tournament, you know. So yeah, and if anything, Mikel Arteta's starting 11 should be evident of that. It should be evidence of that, showing you how serious they are trying to take these competitions. When you look at players like Bukayo Saka getting to start the game, it does signal something. It does communicate something. It shows a bit of intent, that when you get to see Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, you see the intention that there is a desire to win. When you see Gabriel Martinelli, when you see Ebeleche Eze, that's sort of the kind of feel that you get. That's the kind of feel that you get. And then again, then we'll be waiting for the sort of a fourth round draws. You never know. As we get to the fourth round, chances are you get a Premier League opponent. Usually the intensity in terms of the size of the opponent, that may increase on your blood sugar in terms of pressure. For example, if you're Arsenal, there's certain opponents you want to avoid. If you're Manchester City, there's certain opponents that you want to avoid in this cup, especially at the fourth round. If you're Newcastle, if you're Tottenham Hotspurs, if you're Chelsea, there's certain opponents that you would want to avoid. Arsenal making some changes of their own. Mikel Merino has been withdrawn. Victor Gyökeres has been brought on. That means that Martinelli and Ebeleche Eze get to play on the flanks. No, it means actually even Gabriel is being brought on. That's Gabriel Magalhaes, is being brought on. But Mikel Merino was withdrawn for Victor Gyökeres, so that means he gets to play centrally. as the striker. Ben White has been withdrawn for Gabriel Magalhaes. That means Christian Mosquera moves to the right. In terms of what Victor Gyökeres moves to the center, Ebeleche is a move to midfield as an attacking midfielder. Then you stay with Max Doman and Gabriel Martinelli on the flanks from the look of things. If we had to interpret those changes in the breadth in which they have been made so far. But yeah, so those are the substitutions that have been made at so far as of this moment. Um, excuse you. Surprising indeed. Surprising indeed. But you get to have this kind of thing. What is surprising me is that I have a link or a feed that is buffering, and anyway, it's just been the nature recently. Actually, going back to last night, I do not know what's going on. I think maybe I need to check how many devices are connected on my network, but I do not want to think that it's one too many. In any case, I wouldn't want to think so. Arsenal need to get a second goal to sort of secure their lead. Otherwise, for as long as it remains a goal to nil, they're going to be living dangerously. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But again, it's that kind of thing that they get to do, where the game is slow, they do not ramp up the pace on the ball, and things like that, really. So you expect that they should be able to do better. You expect that they should be able to do better, in my opinion. They need to increase the tempo of the game, run at this Portugal side, like for the opponent they are, Portugal. What year are they even playing in? I don't think they're in the championship. I'm here thinking they're in League One, English League One. Yes, they're in the English League One, 19th on that team log, and yet they're frustrating Arsenal. But anyways, also the the irony on the other side, or the beautiful thing is that these teams, when they get to face Premier League teams, they put on a show for their fans. They do not want to, host a big team and get thumped 8-0 or 6-0 or 4-0. Those kinds of, gigantic or margins. They try to grind it out. They try to frustrate the opponent. They try to make it difficult for them. You know. So you sort of understand in a way. You understand in a way. They they try to give their fans quite the show. They try as much as they can to make it difficult for you, so that you're not you're not getting it on a silver platter. I mean, you just have to look back to Grimsby Town, the way they played against Manchester United, and you'll appreciate it for what it is. That's the kind of game. They make sure they give you all the sorts of trouble. Let's see if we can get some bit of reaction from the fans in regards to what they're saying about their team so far. Um, So if you're just joining us, we are following up on the updates. It's a watch along between Arsenal and the Carabao Cup, or the EFL Cup, English Football League Cup. They are leading by goal to nil against Port Vale, and they are sort of living dangerously. Oh, that was a good attempt. Port Vale looking to restore parity. Uh, anyways, okay. Hmm. So just can't find that breakthrough. They're struggling to find that breakthrough. Meanwhile, in the other fixtures that are ongoing, there's a couple of those. There's a couple of those. Let's get to the results. Apologies. I do have Meanwhile, Atletico de Madrid, Vallecano have found the equalizer, so it's 1-1 into halftime. Sociedad Mallorca still goalless. Newcastle United are 4-1 up against Bradford City. Manchester City have found the second. That game is just a couple of minutes before conclusion. That goal came in the 74th minute with Savinho scoring, with Phil Foden providing the assist. Phil Foden's opened the scoring with David Mukasa, Ugandan boy there who playing for England. I mean, his mother is English. The father is Ugandan, so it's called David Mukasa. They are playing for Manchester City. Then in the game for Newcastle, goes by Jolinton. Jolinton has a brace, as well as William Osula. There, Bruno Guimaraes has a brace of assists. Arsenal coming close, with Victor Gyökeres having an attempt on goal blocked out by a Port Vale defender, so as they try to search for their second goal. Then Tottenham Hotspurs, game is into the 3rd minute of stoppage time. João Paulinho and McGrath, an own goal from McGrath, have given Tottenham Hotspurs the advantage ever since halftime. Sorry, ever since the opening stanza. So yeah, and then Port Vale are trying as much as they can to kill some time, or kill the Arsenal momentum. Game is into the 80th minute. Players limping off after being attended to. But for as long as Arsenal do not find that second goal, they will lead dangerously. Every time you're playing and you're leading by a single goal, you're sort of vulnerable. Anytime out of a dead ball situation, out of a sheer moment of being caught off guard, lapse in concentration, and bang, it's 1-1. Then remember, these games do not go into extra time. They just go straight to penalties, 50-50 chance. And before you know it, you're getting knocked out, you know. Gabriel Martinelli is being withdrawn for Leandro Trossard, and I do not know who. Ebeleche Eze is also coming off for Declan Rice. Mikel Arteta making a couple of more changes in there to complete the 5 changes. Remember, Victor Gyökeres came on Gabriel Magalhaes came on and Max Doman already came on. So Rice coming in and to replace Ebeleche Eze. That means Ethan Wanyeri goes into the, okay, maybe. Then, what's his name? Leandro Trossard goes to the other wing, having replaced, Gabriel Martinelli. But Arsenal have no excuses. This is a team strong enough to aim. I mean, they do that thing where they pop the ball sideways, sideways, center, sideways, center, sideways, center. They never attempt to go through down that spine of the middle, So you start a corner, and before you know it, it is with the goalkeeper. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of nonsense is that? I've never believed that you get to start a corner kick, looking for a goal, and suddenly it ends up at the goalkeeper's foot. Okay. Anyways, some games. Tottenham Hotspur's game has finished as Tottenham have won it 3-0. Pedro Porro did score in the 85th minute. Sorry, there was somebody scored in the 4th minute of added time for Tottenham Hotspurs to win it 3-0. Like I said, Newcastle leading by 4-2, a brace from William Osola and Jolinton got them in the lead. The one between Manchester City and Huddersfield Town has finished. So we will be waiting for the Carabao Cup 4th draw. And like I was saying, if you're Manchester City, you'd want to avoid a team like Arsenal, you'd want to avoid Tottenham Hotspurs, you'd want to avoid those kinds of opponents. Liverpool, do you think Ange Postecoglou will win a trophy this year? He's not done anything to convince us that he's going to win something this year, really, and not in my opinion. The first games, I think he's lost 2 games already and a draw. He lost against Arsenal. Then over the weekend, he was involved in a 1-1 draw, and then prior to that, they got knocked out of the EFL Cup at the hands of Swansea, who had to come from 2 goals down to beat them by 3-2. So while it's too early to write him off because the UEFA Europa League in which they are playing is just getting underway for match day 1. I mean, but so far, let's wait. I'm not convinced, really. I'm not convinced. They've not played like a team that is capable of winning anything. Never mind that it is still very, very early days for Ange Postecoglou. Remember, he did not have preseason with them, so he's equally trying to still learn his way around the entirety of the team. But thank you so much just now for posing the question that you put forward to us this evening. And I hope you're doing okay. Hadn't seen you in a bit, but I hope you're okay. Kepa Arrizabalaga had very, very little to do in that Arsenal goal. But like I keep saying, for as long as Arsenal do not find the second goal, it's going to be sort of a nail-biting kind of finish. And what they've basically done is sort of keep the ball in terms of majority of possession and things like that. When you look at the statistics, they've dominated possession with what? About 79% of the ball, 79% of the ball. But shots on target, they only have 2 shots on target. Goal. Leandro Trossard. It's 2-0 for the Arsenal. I mean, that's what he does. Very good coming off the bench. Very good coming off the bench, Leandro Trossard. And he's one of those players that you sort of look at and get to think that anytime they're capable of coming up with something. from the edge of the 18 yards box, and he strips that ball into the back of the net. A very, very clean finish. 2-0. That's what Arsenal needed to sort of make sure that they are, you know, going through. They are going through, and as they wait to learn who their opponent will be. Oftentimes, he's very, very effective when he comes off the bench. He often comes with that bit of hunger. For me, he performs better when he comes off the bench than when he starts. And I can't explain that. Now, it's not that every time he starts, he doesn't deliver, but more often than not, he appears to be more reliable coming off the bench than he does when he starts. Long pass or long ball floated in from deep into the defense. I think by Christian Mosquera. No, by William Saliba, yes, by William Saliba. And then it was at controls and right at the edge of the 18 yards box, and he scores from distance. Very, very beautiful goal there. We've entered the 89 what 80 something minutes, 88 minutes. Game played almost 89. So yeah, we need to find out when is the 89th minute. Carabao Cup fourth one draw should be ongoing as we speak. I'm hoping or thinking as we speak. The teams that are already into the fourth round include Grimsby Town, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Swansea, Brighton, Cardiff City, Fulham, Chelsea, Wycombe, Wolves, Wrexham, Liverpool, Manchester City, Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Port Vale. Those are the teams, but of course, we are waiting for the conclusion of that game between Arsenal and Port Vale to decide. But those are the teams into the fourth round. If I'm Arsenal, I'm praying for an opponent like Wycombe Wanderers, an opponent like Cardiff City, Wrexham. Not that they are easy opponents, but in comparison to what else there is, you're better off getting that. You're better off getting that. Arsenal trying to, find the third goal, but it's just not falling for them. Jesus Christ. What kind of nonsense is that? Just don't like that pass. Yep. Yep. Arsenal still trying to see if they can find breakthrough and get the third, but it's just not falling for them. Long ball into the box, goalkeeper comes, punches it away. To be honest, Port Vale have really, really played well. They've really, really played well. They just faced two big opponents. Game is almost coming to a conclusion. We are already into stoppage time. I mean, it should get done. Arsenal through. I don't see Port Vale coming back from that. They've not done anything in the game to show that they are, going. Again, Arsenal's defensive brilliance continues. You would say that they were against a lesser opponent, but we know that when you give these smaller teams a sniff, they will score. And they've so far conceded 2 goals this season across all competitions. 2 in the Premier League, none in the Champions League so far, where they've only played 1 game, and the Carabao Cup. So 1 goal from open play and another from a set piece play. So yeah, their defensive solidity sort of continues. And I do not think, for any of you that think that Mikel Arteta is going to wake up and change, you're in for a long hold. Like I said, they will be up against Newcastle over the weekend. So Manchester City will be in action tonight. They'll be at home against Burnley. Arsenal will be away to Newcastle. Tottenham will be at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Then which other side were in action tonight? So yeah, I mean, speak of teams struggling. Aston Villa, I mean, players are struggling with confidence. Oli Watkins is not scoring. I mean, you must feel for him. He thought he was going to get a move away from Aston Villa in January this year. Then they got rid of Jean Duran, who went to the Saudi Pro League and has since left Al Nassr to join Fenerbahce on a season-long loan. And then this summer, he hoped something would fall in place. He ended up staying, was being linked with a team like Manchester United and things like that. It just did not happen for him. You go back to last season, again, January, they bring in Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford, Daniel Malin, and they were all getting a nod ahead of him. How do you, if you're a manager, how do you restore confidence in a player that you had shown that you had grown confidence out of in the first place? Really, it becomes difficult. Anyway, full-time score, Arsenal to Port Vale 0. The game has finished with Arsenal winning. Ebeleche is scoring for the Arsenal off the mark for his Arsenal career. Mazlou Kelly providing the assist, while William Saliba provided the assist for Alejandro Trossard. Now, how I wish William Saliba gets to attempt those kinds of passes a little more often. Those long passes, they are capable of pinging them. Remember, Jakub Kivio was one of those that was capable of that. And I'm sure Gabriel Magalhaes can float it as well. So I get the feeling sometimes they need to attempt it more to try and take that ball forward as much as possible, or as quickly as possible, especially when you're playing with a striker like Victor Gyökeres and things like that. But yeah, full-time score, Arsenal to Port Vale 0. Let's now get into the sort of match reaction and see what there is. Arsenal fans are saying in regards to that sort of scoreline following that kind of result. Really. But yeah, beautiful game of football. They will be happy they have advanced to the next round. We will try to follow the updates from the EFL Cup draw. I don't know. I was seeing the headline on the Daily Mail that it was a live 4th round draw, live latest, but I don't know if it's actually being conducted tonight, but usually that's the expectation. Anyways, let's look for that a conversation for the Arsenal. And see what the reaction is online for the fans, for Match City. I mean, Phil Foden, you must feel happy for him. he seems to be getting back into his stride. And now that he scored the other time. Against Man United. Oh, there's a challenge on Bukayo Saka's foot. It sort of didn't look pretty. The player that is just returned from injury, and given Arsenal's unluckiness or misfortunes with injuries, oftentimes you ought to feel for them. You sort of ought to feel for uh, you ought to feel for them sometimes. Trossard is so underrated, doesn't deserve the hate he gets. I do not think he gets hate. Um, I don't think he gets hate. Like many players, he gets scrutinized, and I am one of those that sometimes I'm of the view he tends to perform better when it comes off the bench. Um, Somebody said Arsenal managed to bore a Portfolio into submission, the dullest, latest creative bore fest of a team to watch. Arteta is a virus that kills creativity and good football. Can't wait for the excitement that will be Arsenal versus Newcastle at the weekend. Prediction, Boado. That's somebody sharing their statements about this um, this kind of thing. Imagine struggling against Portvale 16 places below Lincoln. This is why I don't argue with Arsenal fans. Looks like that's from a rival fan. Arsenal's youth brigade slicing through a Vale like a hot knife. So Eze dropping deep to link play before Trossard slipped in for the second 2-0. I mean, not not what I had experienced. By the time he scores, Eze was already off. Max Dorman becomes Arsenal's youngest ever League Cup player as he features against Portvale. When it comes to overall player ratings, 6.6 for Martinelli, Gelmerino 6.7, Saka 6.8, 7.4 for Nogard, 7.7 for Manelli, 8.2 for Eze, 8.5 for Lewis Kelly, 7.5 for Mosquera, 8.2 for William Saliba, 7.2 for Ben White, and 7.3 for Kepa Arrizabalaga. That's according to online sources. Anyways, trying to get some bit of reaction on there, but uh, okay. Anyways, beautiful game. Congratulations to the teams that have advanced. I think soon rather than later, we'll be finding out who will have advanced. Somebody earlier on said Mikel Merino looks grateful in midfield, yet you just know Mikel Arteta will keep starting him on Sunday too. I don't. I'll be surprised if it does. Anyways, I think we should look to wrap this one up. It's been beautiful doing this with you. For the watch along, games finished. Arsenal won by 2 goals to nil. Then we all know Manchester City 2-1. Um, and everything in that line really. It's just what it was. There's no big story to it. We will get to. I do not think there's much depth to digest in terms of the performance overall, and things like that. But yeah, we will see. We will see. Um, on that front. Jesus Christ. I was reading the comment and our community section, and somebody called Dembele an idiot. That person is a Barcelona fan, and you cannot believe that a former Barcelona player won the Ballon d'Or at the expense of a Barcelona player. But it is what it is. Oh wow, wow. Anyways, what a beautiful, outing it's been. Um, just trying to peel through some content. Usually, when a news pops through during a segment, I need to first, read on it, make sure that whatever I may put into your feed is worth what it should be, or that you're not misled. But yeah, we will wait for the Carabao Cup draw and get to find out um, when what the draw will be, who the fourth, how the fourth round ties will look like. The fourth round will be played on the 27th of October, around that period. So that means, given that October is just a couple of days away, we should get the draws coming through quite soon. I was seeing Carabao Cup draw live.